Hello, welcome to another Why Journey episode. We need to continue in this episode understanding the root of the cause of the dysfunctional life that every human lives nowadays, based on this origin that begins everything. So when God, after he formed man, like we read in the previous episode, that he created us in his image and after his likeness. He created a special place for mankind, the Garden of Eden. Then he put him there after he already has created everything for man to be comfortable and create all type of trees and fruits for man to have something to eat. But he gave him one command. Out of all the fruit of the trees, mankind will be able to eat, but not from the tree of good and evil. Now, many people would have said, but why, if God knew that was a future, why did he create and put that tree in there? It's simple. Because he already knew that evil has already begun by one of the creatures that was created. And many people would have said, but why if he created that creature, why did the sin merge in that creature that he created? Everything has explanation. Because the same thing that was given to us is called the free will. I mentioned it in the previous passage. The same thing that was given to the first man created, Adam. And by having that free will, that's how you can come to relate and understand the decision of Lucifer making the wrong choice and trying to open his heart to develop envy. And he wanted to become God, replacing God's place. Him being a creature and God being the creator. Notice the implications here. Because the same state of mind is still continue in every human nowadays. So when he created and put him in the garden, he gave him one command. And that command he needs to obey, because the consequence of that command, it would be catastrophic for humankind. And the implication of that will be death. Now you're going to start to understand when I first mentioned in the first podcast that human spirit is dead. Because from the beginning, it was told to the first man, the day that you eat of that fruit, you will die. So when that occurs, that happens in the chapter 2. If you look at on the verse 15, and that's in the second chapter, it will help you to find this information to understand better, because I can't continue moving to another topic without you have full understanding of the reason of our condition, because everybody wants answers. Why? We are deteriorated. Humanity is so deteriorated. And again, we continually blaming God for it. So by reading this book of truth, it helps you to see the truth reality of the origination of everything, including sin. So when you see this happen in the chapter 2, it was told it was going to be a consequence. And the creature that had already originated sin in heaven came down to the garden and talked to the women. Now pay attention, because this is going to help us understand a lot of where our society is marching towards. Because, and here you will begin understand a very valuable a piece of information that will open your mind and understand. First of all, Satan used the wisest and the brilliant animal in that garden that was created to seduce Eve, and told him, no. Who told you that you will die? You will not die. Look at the proposition. So instead, your eyes will be open and you will become like God. Remember, that proposition came from the opposite force. She already has been created in what? In the first chapter we read about it? Chapter 1, 26, 27. God create men and women, create man in his image and after his likeness. So she fought for a proposition that she already had, because God created us in his image and in his likeness. So the proposition was, you won't die if you eat the fruit of the good and evil. You will become like God. So he already continued the same mind of dethrone God from God's position. So he passed it on to humanity, to human. So when she ate, she gave to Adam. So they both gonna face now the consequence. Notice this. Let's put him in the earthly terms. Any violation of a law, it will have a consequence. So this is the supreme, the highest law that ever will be. So the implication is a severe consequence, which implies death. So when we started realizing now you look that soon as they break that law, something happened. They started seeing their nakedness, and they ran and make an apron of leaves to cover themselves. Why? Before they eat that tree of true knowledge, they didn't realize that they were naked. Remember that they went from one stage to another immediately. The implication was the day that you eat that fruit, surely you will die. Okay, the beginning of themselves discovered themselves, their nakedness. That was the beginning of death. So, disobeying a law established by God and explaining to them the reasons, I'm telling you what you need to know until this point. Because this is what happened to, especially nowadays in our humanity. We want to do things our way, disregarding all kinds of laws, all kinds of instructions. We just want to do it our way. So when we understand this occurrence that occurred in the chapter 2, is when you start to understand the two terms of death: a spiritual and a physical death. A spiritual and natural death. So you need to start looking that way, because that helps you to realize that any action that we make, I'm trying to put it in the practical way for everybody to understand. From this beginning, massive disobedience that occurred. Okay. Now everybody says, but what do I have to do that the first man made that mistake and I'm paying the consequences? That's the typical that everybody says, why I'm going to have to, pay a consequence that someone else commit. That's unfair. No, it's not. What that first man did was define the evidence of committing sin. Yeah, the origination of sinfulness begin there. But when you study and when you understand the same proposition that has been given to him, the first, it has been given to all of us. So you and I, we have the same choice, whether obey a law or disobey the law. But we know that the evidence that the wages of sin is death. So now you're going to start understand what I said in the first episode. Because now we seen in the position that we are. The thing is that our mind is so good to justify violating laws. That's what humans do. Now, knowing the consequences, we still violate laws. Same as you violate the spiritual laws, we violate earthly laws. And this is what happened. Everybody needs to understand something, that when I told you that the Creator, that create humanity and everything in the universe, in the world, knew past, present, and future. Please keep this in your mind, because this is necessary to you to put him in the right perspective. What is past, present, and future? Who knows those three stages of our existence? Only one is the Creator's God. So when we come to understand that people to walk in life without law, they prefer to reject these instructions, because they prefer to walk to the broad path where there's no restrictions, because that's when you apply your free will. So you choose to walk a path without restrictions. But when the consequence comes, we turn around and look and ask a superior being, what happened? How come you're not here protecting me? How come you're not here pulling me out of the pit? Because you execute your free will, you decide, and you knew it. Because this is the implication that I want to bring to everyone's mind, because mind is a very, very tricky piece of hardware that we have. That mind fabricates complete lies, and we believe them. See, this is why, when I read this information, I kind of like put it with the ability that God enables men to go deep in our brain and study a little bit. Watch this, because we only know a little bit of ourselves. Human brain is one of the most complex that it is, and it will be. So, but in the very little that humans neuroscience has dig in and find out, they uncover what the subconscious do and make us fall for propositions that being created in the unconscious, and we make it conscious. So, and you said, but why is that way if God created us perfect? Because we walking in sin, and we have been contaminated. We are contaminated by sin. So when you understand the first proposition in the beginning, the day that you ate from that fruit, you surely will die. Now let's put them in our time. The moment that you violate the laws, the commands that God established when He see the increase of sin, He went and created the 10 Commandments for us to be conscientious of the steps that we are taking and where those steps are leading us. So when you come forward and begin a sinful life, when I say sinful life is violating laws, the outcome will be death. The same principle will continue for every one of us. So when I say it will be death, we're talking about spiritual death. You continue alive physically in the natural, but a spiritual, it's like we are in this zone and we have another zone that is attracted to us with a lot of propositions. So we depart from this zone to that zone. So this zone is life. That zone is death. So we move from life to death spiritually. So this is why we need to know what truth is. Because if we drive our life by every proposition that has been brought up to our attention, and not just that, the critical, like I said, is already being stored in our brain. See, our hardware, our hard drive is already full of a lot of propositions. They already are installed in your brain. And they run 24/7 without you even realizing. And even if our outer world don't propose any proposition to us, we already have in store so many propositions that run 24/7 and being exposed to us daily. It's very complex. I don't want to go too deep to don't get people off. I want everybody to stay on it because when you understand how your mind and your brain operates, you come to see the picture clear. Because that's why it's so much that I want to help people understand. Not me, God wants people to understand these principles. Because we no longer need to blame the outer world propositions. We already have them rooted in ourselves. So when you understand this principle, you'll be like, whoa, this is why I'm continually doing the wrong over and over, because I'm already programming in my brain. This is the reason why you understand something. And please keep this in your mind. We have the tendency to look for enemies outside in the world. Oh, this guy treat me wrong. This guy disrespect me. This guy didn't treat me kind. This person, this. When we understand the word enemy, I want everybody to break it down. Just break it down. In me. In me. So the enemy is in you already. With all this installed information that has contaminated your whole being. And it continue running 24/7, bringing up propositions to your mind, to your conscious, to make you keep walking in the same path. Science call this conditioning. Yourself become conditioned, driven by your own enemy that it is in us. So the biggest enemy that you have to defeat, please listen to this, is very valuable. It's called self. It's you. You have to understand the depth of the implication of defeating self. That's why ego has been mentioned. Everybody has an ego because that's part of self. So when in order for us to understand how can I get out of this state of mind, you have to defeat yourself. You have to renounce to all these propositions that your mind put in your face every day, put in your head every day. So this is very necessary that don't disregard these principles, because all we need to understand is how we function. This is the thing. That's why the first episode was, do you really know who you are? Because you don't know who you are. When you know all these things, you really don't know a thing. You think we do. But we just operating in a way that we don't fully process reality. In other words, you live a fiction life. That's why most of people have come to propose that we are living in a virtual life. That our life is like a virtual. It's like it's not real. And to some degree is a big point there. It's a big point, because the implication that our mind have been completely distorted by pure sin. So this is when you start to understand the reality. Without you dig in and find what is it that's make me feel anxious? What is it that's make me feel anxiety, depression? What is it that's make me feel worry? What is it that cause me fear? What really are all these things that trigger myself and keep me in this state of mind that I feel suffering every day and I can't get over it? I can't get rid of it. So if you don't understand who you are, this is the implication. Now you get how deep this question goes. It's not just about your origin. It's about the implications that will take not knowing who you are. Because you will be, like I said, operating by any proposition that has been stored in your subconscious, in your brain, and has been brought up every day to you. And you make that your reality. You make that your life. And if the propositions are continually, the most likely every human will propose negative propositions, imagine what a state of life you are going to live. This is why the unsatisfaction. This is why the people can't understand why I feel the way I feel. It's because you haven't get to the root of your condition. You haven't get to the root of your situation. Until then, everyone on this planet is going to be bumping their heads left and right, trying to figure out something, and they will never figure it out. And what it gets me is that instead of get to the root of the problem, mankind find a way to benefit from these conditions of humans. We create psychology, we create philosophy, we create all kinds of things that accordingly will get people out of that situation. And yeah, it's some fields that they do it in a good way to help, and they get to help a lot of people. I'm not disagreeing in that. But the thing is that is a ways to cure something temporary, and it's a way to cure something permanent. It's two ways. Our humanity, to help the condition of our humanity, is some kind of temporary healing that comes on place in people. But it's not permanent. Things will come back again. Because until you don't get to the root of the problem, things don't get solved to the core. So this is why God has sent me over here to bring you all these points for you to, if you don't want to believe it, don't believe it, but just put the spark in your mind and give it a thought. If you are struggling in life and your life doesn't change and is always going to pit and always in struggles, always in difficulty, always find out the root of the cause. Find out where these propositions come from. Find out why you're conditioning and why you can shift your life to a next level, to a different spot. So this is the implication, because God sees our humanity declining in a severe way, and it just getting worse and worse every single day. So this is why I'm bringing the manual to help us to understand. But like I said, God enabled me to discover all other areas than how our mind works. God enabled man to give the ability to go and study, man, brain, man health, man everything, DNA and everything. So when you go deep on the scientific field, then you go a little deeper in the spiritual field. You get to connect both of them, and it's only one thing merged from that: a creator, one creator, okay, that we call God, that creates anything that have life. Please understand this. It's very important. This is not a joke. This is not a how can I say it, just a theory that no, when you go deep, you find the truth in reality. It makes perfect logical sense. You're no longer living a superficial life. You live in a reality. And this is why people like me, it comes with this way to how can I help somebody else to understand these principles? Because that's what we need in our society. We need information that help us to uncover our reality of existency in order to shift life in a different direction with a different purpose and to a benefit of others. Because when you uncover your purpose, always going to lead to benefit someone else. It's no other way. There's no other way. You just got to look. Everything the man has give the capacity to develop is related to someone else. You will not come out with an idea or a product or anything that you come out with that's not going to be related to someone else. It has to be related with someone else. So, which means your purpose will benefit someone else automatically. I don't care how you want to derail it. How do you want to diversify in a different way? No. You need to understand something. That everything you will come out with, it will benefit somebody else. And that's the whole meaning. That's the whole concept of our existence, our humanity. Jesus said one quote, Father, I want them to become one like you and I. Do you see the implication there? See, the thing is, people don't go depth on what Jesus, God himself, came down, took a form of human, and spoke to us. It makes a perfect logical sense. But the problem is, like I said, we are programmed to don't look at that information. And that's the problem with our humanity. That's why everybody is going to the pit every time. People fall into this, people seeking for this, people going after this, and you look at people going after wealth, fame, all these things, and when they get to the peak of the mountain, they discover one thing. It wasn't there. That's not where you get that joy. That's not where you get that peace. That's not where you get that contentment, that reward really that make you a fool. That's not what's going to fill that gap in your heart. So this is why I want everybody to tune into this. And it's not me. I'm pretty sure it's God that wants everybody, because I'm just a human like you and I. When I get these things, it's just, come to my mind, and it's like someone sending me to do this, what I'm doing, bring you this information. It's not about me. Goes back again. It's for the benefit of others. That is the core. When you understand God, that's who God is. His love is so in the deeper level that will be and has been and will continue being for the benefit of others. That's who our Creator is. And this is what we need to understand. It's not complicated. It's easy. But you need to be willing. Listen to this. You need to be willing to shift your life in a different direction in order to experience change. Because if you remain with the lifestyle that you've been driven all your life, nothing is going to change. I guarantee you, nothing is going to change. Science, just about a decade ago, they come out with the discovery, big discovery, but I already knew it from my manual of instructions. My word already have revealed that to me. When I heard it, I said, that already been saying. Science says, we discovered the humans, we are capable to rewire our brain. Rewire in a different direction. When you go to my book of instructions, it tells you a true change begins in a human when it's a complete renewing of your mind. Now, see these two prepositions. And they similar? Very similar, but worded a little bit different. So it's already in that book of instruction there. We are capable to reconnect our direction that we are heading in a different direction. But in order to that come to be 100%, you will gonna have to prune. I call that prune self. Because without pruning, nothing will change. Because you're conditioning. Understand this is very important. You are rooted, you are conditioning to do the same thing over and over and over. So in order for you to see changes, that's why Jesus said, come to me all those that are worker and labor, I will give you rest. But the next verse says, take my yoke that is light and easy. You see the implication here. It's not just saying yourself, oh, I'm going to do what this guy said. I'm going to change my mind. I'm able to. No. You won't be able to. You need that extra divine help. Alone, we won't be able to do it. That's the reason why Jesus came down to give us the helper, the Holy Spirit, in order to us conquer flesh, sin, death. That's the reason, man. It's very explaining. You just got to put yourself to it to give God the opportunity. Open your mind, your heart to Jesus Christ, and He will send the helper to prune all these unnecessary things that we've been come to think they are essential in our life, that we can live without them. No. When that helper come to you, it's going to start to prune and take away the unnecessary things that are stopping you to really live life to the fullness. I will continue in another podcast. I'm going to try to cut down right here. But if you have any comment, if you have any questions, please do it. I'll try to do the best that I can to respond them. And I hope that this other podcast is helpful, because the next one is going to be in regard of why are you living fear. The next one is going to be regarding on fear. I'm going to give you a little bit of the title. It's going to be based on the fear that every human lives in this life. So, but until now, I'm going to leave it right here. This podcast, I hope they're being useful. If it's being useful, please subscribe and share it with someone else. Until next Why Journey. God bless you.